Hello, Lizzie here. So today we're going to make the little Susie bag, but this time we're going to use the overlocker or the serger, and we're going to make the whole bag using that. The only part that I'm not going to use it for is just for the turning gaps. We can hand stitch that or pop it under the machine, but the whole thing is going to be made with the serger. Now that's unusual because normally we wouldn't do that, but you know what, I've promised myself for ages that I would do a video using my gorgeous machine here. It's so useful. If you've got one, get it out of the box and just start stitching. And the idea is this will give you so much confidence that you'll always have it out on your desk, just like me. So here are the pieces. Now if you want to know about the pattern, just drop down the description box below and everything is down there as to what you need and where to go to get this pattern. But it's really simple. First of all, you need 4 pieces for the channel. So I've got these right sides together already. So those are my channel pieces, 4 of. Then I've got 2 pieces of the bag for the lining. There's 2 pieces there, they're right sides together, so I'm ready to go. And then the main bag here, again, right sides together, but you're getting 2 pieces there, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is actually run the channels under the overlocker. And of course you can do this on your sewing machine, but the idea is that you get brave and you use your serger. So all I'm going to do is stitch down both short ends, and I'm going to repeat it on the other pair. So let's bring in the machine. So you know that with a serger, with an overlocker, you've already got this chain of thread here, and that's something that you need to have. You can also lift up your foot of your serger, your overlocker. I'm going to keep saying serger, it's so much easier. So you can pop your fabric under there and it holds it fast. I don't need my hands now. So all I'm going to do is run this under the machine. Let's get the foot in the right place. And I'm going to put the second one underneath with kind of chain stitching. Oh my gosh, it's so quick. It's quicker than a sewing machine. I like to use my scissors. It has got a thread trimmer here, and you'll have one on yours, but I do like to use my scissors. And again, we're going to do the other sides, the other ends. Of course, you can disengage your blade if you want to, but I quite like to use mine. So again, just run that off. I'll try not to talk when that's going. They do sound different to your sewing machines. They do look quite different, but they're not at all frightening. So look, those are my channels made. So I've stitched both short ends, and I'm going to go away and actually press these now. They need to be nice and crispy. So because we're going to make 2 channels from these, they need to be really neat. So turn those through, and I'm going to just take that over to my ironing board and give them an iron. So while I'm doing that, have a look at this. You can find access to my Gold Club from my website. Sign up and you can connect to my Facebook Live events and join in all the fun my Gold Club members have on a weekly basis. And of course you get free patterns. See my Gold Club video on YouTube for more information. So I've pressed my beautiful channels, they're so crispy and lovely now. So all I'm going to do is fold these lengthwise. So you're just literally going to fold those in half. Now traditionally I'd pop these under my sewing machine and I'd stay stitch these down. So we've got those 4 layers well and truly encapsulated. But I'm going to be a bit of a devil today. I'm going to put these under my serger. So again, just lift that toe up so it all goes in. And just make sure that's all caught. Just hasn't quite caught there. There we go. And then we're going to go all the way down the length of those channels. There we go. And again, you can put a second one in. Now, if you decide to use pins, I don't really recommend it because you could damage your blade. So if you're going to use anything, use quilting clips with your serger. Again, make sure that's tucked in. Pull it out the other end. this machine. Right, just trim those ends up so all your threads are lovely and neat. Not because that's the only thing about an overlocker serger. You have too many threads. So there we are, we've made a really neat job of those channels now. So I'm just going to pop those to one side. So the next thing we're going to do is actually stitch the bag together. So with the main bag I'm going all the way round to there. I am not going to stitch that straight edge. With the lining, I mustn't forget to leave a turning gap, which I can do on the serger. So again, I'm going all the way round. The first little bit, I'm going to stitch an inch and take it off. I'm then going to come back in again about 3 inches down and then start from there again. So this is where we go all the way around on our main bag. Just go slowly around those corners. Just ease your fabric in. You can always stop and readjust. And again, it's just like when you're sewing with the sewing machine. You ease that fabric around the corner. And straight off. And straight off. So again, now with this, we're going to do that inch, I'm going to come off, and then I'm going to come back on again about 3 inches down. So get those nicely lined up. Again, I just lift my foot. That just takes the fabric for me. The actual feed dogs are right there, so it's going to grab it straight away. If I was to feed it from here, that fabric will just slip off, but just by putting it under the foot, and your machine will be the same, it'll catch that fabric and hold it for me. So about an inch. And then we're just coming off. So I'll just show you that. Now it is at an angle, but when you do the turning gap, all of that will make sense and you'll be able to do that lovely and neat. But I want to come back in again now. So I'm just putting that at an angle to underneath the foot so I can start on that fabric and come in and go around. Again, you're just going to ease it around. I keep thinking my lever is here, it's here. You're just going to ease your fabric around those corners. Again, just give it a little alteration if you need to. And straight off the end. The great thing about the overlocker is that it is super fast, it's super neat, it makes a really strong bag. So if this is a bag, I mean, and this one's small, but if you're going to make a bigger bag, a shopping bag, something like that, think of the strength of that seam that you've just done. I'm using my 4 threads, you could use 3 if you wanted to, but a 4 thread will give you a much stronger seam. So there we are, so there's our little bag and there's our lining done. One of these needs to be turned through. In the version that I made on my sewing machine, I turned the lining. With this one, I'll turn the main bag through. Now, because we've overlocked, actually, it will make a really lovely rounded end to this bag. So right sides into the lining, which is right sides in there, and put the 2 layers together, nice and flat. Just make sure those seams match up beautifully. And you can put a quilting clip in here just to hold. There we go. Bring those all up together. So far we haven't even touched the sewing machine, have we? It's not going to happen. So I've got my first channel here, and just where the end is, where I've got a tube, then I'm going to pop that between the fabrics, between the lining and between the main bag. So just in there between the 2. Doesn't matter about right sides, wrong sides, because these are both right sides, aren't they? And I'm going to put that end of channel right up to the seam, and that's the first one I'm going to stitch. I'm not even going to look at the second one just yet. So again, if you want to, use a quilting clip just to hold. But I'm going to pop that under my serger now, and I'm just going to catch that with my foot. Now you could disengage the blade if you want to at this point. And I'm just going to start off stitching. just to catch those fabrics. And then what I'm going to do is make sure everything is lined up. So I want that channel right inside my fabrics there. And if you can, try to go just a little bit further inward so you don't see your original stay stitching, which we've done with the serger. So just go a little way. Just keep making sure that all your layers are laying nice and neatly, that they're all sitting nice on top of each other. And it's just a whiz. If you try this, honestly, you'll whip these up in half an hour. So as you're coming up to the other seam, we want to now think about putting in the other channel. So I'll just go right up to the edge. So I'm nearly there, I'm about 1 inch away. So I'm taking my second channel and I'm now putting that inside. To try and do that before, I think, well, you just get into a muddle. You'd need to pin it, you'd need to clip it, because it's a loose piece of fabric, isn't it? So now I've caught that second channel and I'm just going to start machining over that. And you'll hear the machine going, what, all those layers? Yes. So again, now don't forget also that the blade isn't dangerous. It's a bit like a pair of scissors, and that's how it works. So I suggest you don't put your fingers anywhere near it, but you don't have to worry too much about it. So again, we're just going all the way around, just tucking that channel in. Of course, you may have the facility of removing this table that you have at the side of your machine. You can make your machine free arm. So let's just do another couple of inches here. That's it. My lining wasn't laying straight. So just take your time. What I really want you to do is to be really super brave with your overlocker. We're just coming to where we started. I'm just going to snip those first couple of little threads just so I can get my channel in there beautifully. And you just want to bear that in mind. There we go. The channel now is lying nice and flat, and then you're just going to come right along to the end. And then just come off. There we go. So now, I'll sweep those up later. So now we can turn this through. There we go. So obviously the pink is the lining and the gorgeous purples are the bag. So we'll just tuck the lining inside. Could do with a good press. Look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Got a couple of loose threads here. There we go. So now, give it a good press. But now we need to just thread the ribbon through. And I've got some gorgeous mauve ribbon here. Now I like to use a really long piece. You don't have to do that. And because we've got 2 openings in this bag, you can make it like a drawstring. So you have one ribbon going one way and another ribbon going the other way, and then you can draw them together to gather it in. But this particular bag, I just like one going through all the way. So just going to thread that through using a safety pin. Nice and safe, just popping the ribbon through. If you see any threads as you go, give them a little snip. I'm guilty as charged. There we go. So we have made this entire bag on the serger, on the overlocker. Any overlocker will do this, I promise you. You just need to get it out of the box and have a little play. And if you can make this bag in half an hour, which you easily will, think about how confident you'll feel about making another one. So there we are. There's our little Susie bag with a drawstring. Isn't that fab? Now, of course, I still have the turning gap inside. Where is it? Over this way. Now what I can do there is pop it under my sewing machine. Shall I do that and come back to you? Okay, I'll do that now. So I took this away to my sewing machine and just top stitched across that opening. But quite honestly, if you want this fully reversible, I would do a little hand stitch to keep it really neat. So all we need to do now is to tuck that lining back inside. Like I say, you want to give it a good press so it looks really nice and neat. And then you could fill this with whatever you like. Don't forget, if you want to watch another version of this being made, have a quick look on my other videos down my channel, and you'll see this being made traditionally on a sewing machine. So I'm going to go away now and fill this with cookies.